Hey friends, what's up? Philip here with Points of Philip, and I'm here to bring you some huge news about Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo, for those of you that don't know, it's a pretty major bank in the United States, and especially if you're in a big city for some reason. A lot of times, whenever I'm in Washington D.C. or Atlanta, I've noticed that there's a decent amount of Wells Fargo locations, and so that can be a really great bank to bank with. And so, anyway, they have just announced a huge piece of news, and that they have a one-to-one transfer partnership with JetBlue Airlines as of now. So moving forward. So Wells Fargo has been kind of getting their feet wet when it comes to transfer partners recently. And so that's been a really interesting development, but they kind of have been suffering from not having as many transfer partners as people would have liked to have seen. And so that's kind of a big deal in itself. But now that they're continuing to expand it, so they're expanding it to JetBlue, which is one to one, which is kind of a big deal because that's a far better transfer ratio than American Express or Capital One. And so if you are someone who is on the East Coast and you're trying to get JetBlue miles, or you want to fly JetBlue Mint across the pond, then getting Wells Fargo card just became a lot more important to you. All right, before we get too close or too far into this video, I want to talk to you about, well, one of my favorite wallets. So I have been talking to you for a while about my Extra Wallet Pro and how much I love this leather feel, how much I love the way it looks and kind of has this nice little pocket that just kind of shoots out the cards. And it's really great, but it has been replaced in my wallet. And that's actually been by the new Extra kind of card holder for MagSafe. And so basically, if you notice, you see magnets on this side and on this side, and that attaches to the back of my iPhone. And that enables me to kind of carry my cards with me in the same pocket as my phone. And then I can actually leave my other pocket free for AirPods, my car keys, that sort of thing. So I'm really excited about this card. I have been using it for a little bit now, and it's really amazing. It's very slim. It's very like the opportunity to just kind of carry what I need with me, but not make it a big deal is kind of huge for me. So I really love this. Now, if you're interested in trying the Extra Wallet out as well, I have a link in the description below that's going to get you 10% off your next purchase. Go ahead and check that out. And then maybe you can join the legion of people that have already tried Extra Wallets and are really kind of happy with it. Now that that's out of the way, though, let's get into the rest of the video. So let's go ahead and get into kind of this news and what that actually means moving forward. So first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at the Doctor of Credit website. And so this is kind of huge. 1 point equals 1 true blue point. And there's no minimum. So you can actually transfer 1 point to 1 point if you need to, or 200 points, or whatever it is you need in order to be able to actually top up. And that can be huge just in a second. But before we get too far into this, I want to ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me and YouTube know that what I'm doing is helpful, and that helps more people to view the content. Okay, let's now get into kind of why this matters. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at some options that I have here. So we're just going to go from Orlando, say, to New York. So we're going to take a look at Orlando to New York. Let's see, I'm just going to go see if I can just do New York City area. And then we're going to do just a random, oh yeah, so their search website actually shows you a decent kind of amount of kind of points. So if we're going to go to New York, we can go for 6,500 points pretty easily. So we're going to search flights here. All right, so this is really huge. So 6,500 points plus $5.60. And now this is for the Blue Basic, which is free carry-on bag, no changes, fee to cancel or select seats. But when you're booking with points, you can always cancel, which is great, or you can opt for kind of one of these extra seats, but you can make it for 6,500 points for the Blue Basic. And so that's kind of a solid option. Now let's take a look at New York to London. Let's see if there's anything that we can do for those points. And again, we can take a look at this particular option for the searching to see if there's anything available. It appears that maybe not. Okay. All right, so you can go to Mint lie flat seats for 88,000 points. And so this is actually pretty good. For a business class seat from New York to Heathrow, we're doing 88,000 points for $5.60. Now, there are some business class seats which you can get for far less. Virgin Atlantic, for example, can be booked for as low as 40 to 45,000 points. I have seen a couple of kind of unicorn seats at 35,000 points. So 88,000 is definitely more substantial than that, but it is a little bit more in line with, say, if you wanted to use Air France, their saver fare is around 60,000, but you can pay as much as 150,000 for those seats. And so 88,000 points, JetBlue points for that mint seat is not bad. 39,000 points for economy is also not terrible, but you can also do a little bit better just by searching down. 27,000 seats points here for this particular flight. And so you have actually some decent options. So you can use Wells Fargo points now for pretty good up and down the East Coast, pretty good domestic flights up and down the East Coast, I mean. And then you can also use it pretty well for international travel, which is kind of a big deal. Now, again, so we have, it's not terribly difficult to get JetBlue points. Now, Citi and Chase do currently convert to JetBlue points at 1-to-1 as well. And so Wells Fargo joins that kind of team. But then again, well, American Express is, I think it's 3-2, and then Capital One is 5-3 or something weird like that, which is a far worse kind of redemption option. So if you have Chase and Wells Fargo and Citi points, and you're trying to travel overseas, the JetBlue might actually be a pretty solid option now because of this Wells Fargo thing. Now let's take a look at the Wells Fargo family of cards, because I don't really talk about them that much, but they do have some interesting cards. So we're going to take a look at, first of all, in order to have access to these transfer partners, you do have to have the autograph journey or the autograph card in order to be able to actually transfer those points out. But you do have some sign-up bonuses, which is nice. So their top level card for this kind of travel tops out at $95 for an annual fee. For that, you can actually earn 60,000 bonus points for spending $4,000 on purchases within the first 3 months. And so this does earn 5x points with hotels, so that's booked directly, 4x points with airlines, 3x points on other travel and restaurants. So other travel is really solid. That's a nice card for $95, 3x. So this can actually have a pretty wide open travel category, and it's a lot less than the American Express Green Card. Then you get a $50 annual statement credit with a minimum $50 airline purchase. So you have to just buy an airline ticket on this flight. And presumably it also would work for taxes and fees if you have to deal with Virgin or something like that. And so this is a solid card for $95. And again, 60,000 bonus points. That's almost a complete JetBlue Mint seat. It's also a complete Air France business class seat, absolutely for free, just for opening the card and meeting the minimum spend. Now, there's also the Wells Fargo autograph card. That's one's a little bit smaller, but it has no annual fee. So it earns 20,000 bonus points when you get spend $1,000 in purchases within the first 3 months, which is huge. Then you get 3x points on restaurants, travel, gas stations, transit, popular streaming services, and phone plans. Ladies and gentlemen, we love to talk about the City Strata Premier. However, this card beats that in a lot of key ways, or at least matches it in a lot of key ways, but then also has a $0 annual fee. Now, and if you're someone who is relying on JetBlue, this might not be a bad card to get. And so that's important note. Now, you also can get 0% APR for 12 months from account opening on purchases. And so that can be super helpful as well. For example, if you have a large purchase coming up, you can get this card, put that on there, and then have reduced interest, right? Then we have the active cash. The active cash gives you 2% cash back on all purchases, and it also gives you a sign-up bonus, and so that's really great. And so that's really nice too, and that also earns these points. And so you can actually transfer the points from here to an autograph or autograph journey card, and then you can actually just, again, just transfer those to JetBlue or Air France or something like that. Okay, then we have the Attune card, which is actually pretty interesting. So this one has 4% cash rewards on gym memberships, salon spas, select sports, recreation, and entertainment, public transit, electric vehicle charging, and then other kind of meaningful purchases. And so there's a lot of really cool things here in this particular thing. And then we have the Built card, which earns its own little kind of currency. The One Key cards also earn their own currency. So pretty much we're working on the Attune card, the active cash, and then we have the autograph or autograph journey. And so this is a solid lineup. I'm happy with this lineup. Honestly, if they would give me a card, I would be jumping on this right now. So these are really, really huge cards, really, really huge deal. Let's take a look at what the total partner transfers they have. They have Air France, Flying Blue. They have Avianca Life Miles, which is also really solid. Then they have access to the Avios, and then Virgin Atlantic, and then Choice Privileges at 1-2. So that's not as good, but for if you're flying internationally, this is a solid option. All right. Well, anyway, that's the news for today. Thanks so much for kind of walking me through that or coming with me on this ride, and we'll see you guys again next time.